IBM launching its newest mainframe this morning, the Z15. I talked to the head of IBM Systems, Tom Rosamilia, earlier this morning about that product, how it includes a security feature, data security, that transforms data privacy, arguably like invisible ink. Take a listen.
They listed the most important things. They helped us determine the most important things, and one of those was this data privacy that you mentioned. They also brought up instant recovery and cloud-native application development. So those are the three most important pieces. The disappearing ink, I like that. It's a good analogy because what we can do is we can encrypt data everywhere, on the machine and off the machine. And if you choose, you could make that ink disappear when you want it to. So if you have a third party that has your encryption keys and you want to revoke their access, you can do that remotely. So you change your mind or there's some kind of third party breach, as we see there often are, cut off their access.
Kind of reminded me of the Cambridge Analytica situation and what might have inspired that. And he said, yes, indeed, customers do think about those things happening in the consumer world. It also occurred to me that mainframe buying can be sort of an economic indicator. It's some of the most expensive hardware out there. Customers are spending hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars still upgrading mainframes. It's not like there's a lot of revenue growth in mainframes, but there's a lot of transaction growth. So I had questions for him about, particularly in Europe, how much that's going to indicate perhaps how the economy is doing there. That's something investors should perhaps watch. Take a look, shares of IBM now down about 1/3%. The stock has been still up for the year, but what they really want to do with this is tie in the mainframe customer now to that Red Hat acquisition that they just did. Because in the past, mainframe was seen as being very vertical, sort of walled garden, purpose-built. They're trying to argue now, well, with Red Hat and OpenShift, you can now build applications that work across lots of different clouds, lots of different systems. You're not necessarily locked in.
The bridge to more software. I love this idea of mainframe as an economic indicator. Also, what sort of stuck out to me just now that you talked about, I mean, we talk so much about this sort of almost bifurcation that's happening in the big tech companies between those that are doubling down, like Apple, for example, on this notion of privacy versus those that maybe aren't. But IBM arguably is in that privacy camp, right?
And I would say all the enterprise players have their own privacy card that they try to play. Mainframes, I mean, it's not a growth business by any stretch, but the companies that use them, if you're scheduling flights, if you're in financial services, you still absolutely need that machine. Security is important to you. The question is, can IBM use that sticky system, that mainframe, and really leverage it across things like this new acquisition that they spent a pretty penny on, biggest software acquisition ever, and really get the revenue boost out of that? We'll see. We'll be watching the numbers.